And now it's time for some breaking news. All right, everybody. I just want to dive right in, very quick off the top, give you an update on this WGA strike because, of course, it's still going second week. We talked about the other day about how producers were actually suspending contracts, or I should say the AMPTP was suspending contracts with their showrunners / WGA writers because, you know, they're not going to work. They're not crossing the picket lines. And all the big places, ABC, NBC, CBS, all the big ones did it. We were talking about how maybe the streaming services will do that. Well, Netflix took the first step forward and Netflix suspended all their contracts for all their showrunner writers because, again, there's picket lines and they're not crossing the picket lines. I mean, Netflix alone, outside Netflix studios, we actually had Imagine Dragons out there doing a live show for the WGA members, just cheering them on and supporting them and just being there for them, which is huge. It's great. A lot of celebrities have been coming out. Jay Leno was giving out donuts. You got Pete Davidson in New York handing out pizzas. You got Jason Sudeikis holding that sign at Warner Brothers, you know, picketing with the WGA. It's pretty great. It's pretty great this has happened. The support is there for the WGA members. And even if you look at the town right now, there's supposed to be tonight a Chanel event, and they're not even sure what's happening with that. It goes on like an hour, and we don't know if there'll be a picket line, if it'll actually happen. It's at Paramount Studios. So the thing is, will they, won't they cross it if it's there? If it's there, a lot of actors said they wouldn't cross it. So will it shut that down? It might. A lot of things have been shut down. Film LA itself has a 51% drop in film permits this year from last year, which is insane because nobody's shooting. Because even if you're on location and you're doing this, they will not let you shoot. The WGA is out there picketing. They're finding these shoots. They're out there and they're being like, hey, support us. No shooting until this is worked out. And it's going to be some time, like we talked about. We got time till this is worked out for sure. It's only week 2. And honestly, there's no movement yet. So it's crazy. Mike, you haven't been here. What do you think about this whole situation? Have you have any thoughts on the WGA?
Man, first off, you know, anybody who's protesting anything, anywhere, I'm with you. Like, don't cross the picket line. I've been accused of being part of Workers Against Work. I can't say that that's not true. My only exposure to this really has been in, seeing stuff on social media with comedians on podcasts, because there's a lot of writers there. And it seems like everybody and their grandma's going out to picket and bring water bottles. Like, I don't know. I'm honestly more interested with your take on this kind of thing. I mean, I'm sure you've already given your thoughts on this, but you know, I think everybody wants equitable division, right? Like, yeah. And what I'm really going to miss in this situation as compared to the last one is, if you remember the Conan O'Brien show during the last really big.
Yes.
Yeah, he was having fun with it, wasn't he?
He was creeping around up in the rafters of the studio. Like, it was just the most beautiful, absurd nonsense. So I don't know if you have any voice.
Since you brought that up, I would just like to make a note that he paid his writing staff out of his own pocket for that.
Huge.
And he did like an unscripted, like off the cuff, like let's see what happens improv show basically. But he paid all of his writers while he was on out of his own personal pocket, which I think is the most noble and amazing thing.
Everybody knows that Conan's the best, right?
He's a great guy.
Well, I feel like a lot of people don't know that fact, and I think that it's worth mentioning because that's not. I mean, it's not something that other people are doing.
But this WGA strike, though, honestly, it's going to go on for a while. I'll tell you right now. And like I was saying before on the show, Mike, the fact is, it's like they're going back and forth. The biggest thing is AI, and they can't work that out. The producers are still like, hey, we don't want to talk about that. And of course, the wage increases. They went 6%, 5%, 5% over 3 years. And the producers want to give them like 4, 3, and 2 over 3 years % raises.
And
so
the residuals. I think the back end stuff is extremely. The back end. The residuals and royalties, I think, is the biggest problem.
Yeah, that's what that too. And the writers' rooms. They want the writers' rooms to be there. They want writers on set more than they have now. There's a lot of issues they're not budging on. And of course, May 15th, they have a big picket thing happening. And until then, I don't think any negotiations will happen because they're just trying to like put it out there like, hey, we could shut you down. And that's what happens.
I read today that WGA wants their producers to reach out to schedule a talk, and the producers want the WGA to be the first person to reach out to schedule a talk.
Mom and dad are fighting.
they're just stalemating and like, you know, giving each other the cold shoulder, which is ridiculous. I mean,
And yes, Rachel,
how
Mike is
anything
striking
gonna
from the
get
trunk of a
done?
car.
I'm not in the
sorry,
trunk
I left
anymore.
it up
I am
there for a
out of the
second.
trunk. This is just my screen. I've disassembled my way out of the trunk. Here, I can close the lid of it if you really want me to.
Oh God, yeah, it's falling on the top of you there, Mike.
Oh no,
Yeah,
wait.
careful there,
Let me
Mike.
escape, let me
Don't
escape.
cave in. Don't cave in.